Time had passed, and Goku and Yamcha chose to spend a significant portion of their lives in space, trademark, working as space mercenaries. They took on various jobs for planetary settlements and the Galactic Patrol, those boys, mostly hunting pirates and the remnants of the Freezer Force, in a much more humane job than Vegeta did in the original story. While it was an honest way of earning a living out in space, trademark, the tasks they faced were not particularly challenging, as you could probably tell, especially for Goku. However, in his mind, this work was a long-term way of protecting Earth from any potential threats. Instead of waiting for them to come to Earth, they went to them. But then that brings up the question of who is the true villain here. Back on their home planet of Earth, well, Yamcha's home planet, but Goku didn't really remember much about his own, being Planet Vegeta, things were going rather well. Tenshinhan had become much stronger, and at some point, Yamcha had used instant transmission to take his best friend to Yardrat for some extra training. This was a bit of a mystery for the others, as Tenshinhan and Yamcha didn't want to be found, so this was a very closely guarded secret. He could trust Tenshinhan not to blab. Goku also chose not to be present for whenever Tenshinhan ended up on Yardrat and his transportation, unable to face him after the whole Cell debacle. He still couldn't get over that, and also previous history. What the others eventually learned was that one day, Tenshinhan went to meditate in the mountains and returned a month later, much stronger and able to use some incredibly powerful techniques. What was he doing under that mountain, and could they ever go? Even if his comrades suspected something, they didn't choose to call him out on it. As far as they were concerned, he had actually gone to some mountains to train. Meanwhile, the world champion Chi-Chi used her influence to improve the living conditions of all of those who had suffered during both the Saiyan attacks and the android ones, making her very, very popular around the world and well liked. There was not really anything bad to say about her. I mean, she gave people stuff and helped them out. And then there was Vegeta, who was trying to be a better father and felt somewhat broken and was really struggling to get his desire back to fight. Raditz and Nappa tried multiple times to motivate him to get back into training again. It wasn't him not getting into a gravity chamber and somewhat, but he always refused their advances. Instead, he obsessively trained his only son, Trunks, to be the strongest. That was all of his concern right now. Get his son strong. This ironically made Trunks a very lonely child, as he was the only half Saiyan in this timeline, and therefore felt like an outcast among his peers, because remember, there is no Gohan. He was homeschooled and trained at home. And without Goten existing, he was also much quieter and more obedient. He didn't have a comic foil in which to bounce off of. So yeah, this version of Trunks, not a good one. Certainly not a happy one. Bulma was the first to realize that this way of raising Trunks might not be the best for him in the long term. Even though it is good for the good of the planet, it's not good for his soul. Especially since Vegeta was pouring all of his desire to fight, what was left of it, into the boy. Which must have been exhausting for the child, even if he claimed to his father that he loved this sort of thing. It was some kind of emotional connection, he would take it. She was happy though that her partner and son were close, but Trunks right now deserved to be a kid. He was 5 years old at the time here. He's not 8, he's 5. One day, when Nappa and Raditz visited and Vegeta turned them down again, Bulma looked at the prince and said, Just go with them, Vegeta. Vegeta responded calmly, I can't. I promised. I'll be here with you and the kid. I'll make it right for the both of you. Bulma replied, just rolling her eyes. Honey, you're practically itching to fight, I can tell. Those prosthetics I made for you, since you don't want Shenron to replace them with actual limbs, can handle all the pressure you can give them. Trust me, I know what I'm doing, Vegeta replied. No, I couldn't, Bulma then said. What? Great Prince Vegeta is afraid of losing again? And then what? Where's your Saiyan pride, huh? And besides, you not actually using my limbs in anger is actually an insult to me, if you think about it. Vegeta grumbled. Easy for the human woman to say. But she was right. Trunks was remarkable, but he was still a child, and a half-human child at that. It was unknown territory at this time, not growing up as a normal Saiyan would. Nobody knew what would happen. They needed to be protected no matter what, and without Kakarot around and him not coming back anytime soon, Vegeta was sure that Nappa and Raditz were slacking in their training. He just felt it, because he wasn't around. So you can imagine their surprise when one day Vegeta appeared on the lookout and asked to spar. I say asked, he just forced himself on them. To his surprise again, they were in much better shape than he had anticipated. I mean, they didn't win, but it was difficult for Vegeta to keep up with them. Even the Namekian and the Triclops were giving him a run for his money. What had happened here? Vegeta then realized that, yeah, he had been a bit silly, that he needed to start training harder. So he and Nappa decided to enter the Room of Spirit and Time, with some good quality time and a need for Vegeta to catch up. Raditz decided to, let that slide, as he wasn't as obsessed with becoming insanely strong. If he wanted to go in the time chamber, he would do so with another person. Doesn't really matter. Outside, Tenshinhan and Piccolo wondered whether or not it was a good or bad thing that Vegeta had decided to start training again. Krillin had returned to Master Roshi to try and learn everything that he could. Androids 17 and 18 were revived along with all of the other victims of Perfect Cell, but at this point, Krillin was merely just starting to get to know Android 18. They weren't really properly dating yet, as she was still a little bit rattled from, being eaten by a big bug monster. That would do that to you. Krillin thought it would be a bad idea to take her to Master Roshi due to his previous, so he contacted his old buddy Launch, who now had her own transportation company, specializing in delivering tasty meals. Do you get it? Because her name is Launch. She launched a lunch thing. Yeah? Launch was also prone to rowdier episodes herself as well, so the androids and she had an agreement to keep each other in check. They would visit Krillin and Roshi from time to time, and as the monk noted, even blonde Launch had proven to be a strangely fitting mentor. So what could possibly go wrong? Well, probably a lot of things. Time passed and everyone's lives moved on, with everyone getting stronger. One day, Yamcha and Goku were contacted by their galactic patrol contact, Jarko, who told them that someone was looking for them, interested in booking their services. They set off for the planet on the date that the meeting had been requested for. And when they got there, they weren't expecting what they saw. That person who made the booking was a strange blue fellow named Shin, and his pinkish towering bodyguard named Kibito. The two of them then explained that they were some type of divine police or something, and were pursuing a particularly dangerous space wizard who had recently joined forces with the ruler of a demon realm. Initially, Yamcha and Goku thought someone was trying to prank them. Some kind of divine police. The Galactic Patrol were the be-all and end-all of Galactic Police. How come they had no idea about these guys before? But then King Kai chimed in to confirm that, yeah, these two were serious, though he chose not to elaborate, so, well, I guess King Kai was kind of covering for them. Now, I bet you're thinking that Goku would accept this cut and dry. Well, not quite. Since he hadn't trained with King Kai in this timeline, he only knew about the Kai through Piccolo. Apparently, these two that Shin was talking about had nefarious plans and might actually head for Earth, targeting particularly strong individuals, all during an event called the 25th World Martial Arts Tournament. And Goku, he knew exactly where that was and what the significance was. The strongest people on the planet would be there. Both of them gasped, as it was likely that their friends would be there, unless they decided not to train and they suddenly forgot everything they knew. Shin revealed that they wanted to hire Goku to deal with this personally, and also accompany the two of them so they could oversee the whole thing. They had heard about him defeating Frieza in the past. Goku only remarked that, oh, it was a long time ago, as indeed his days of boasting were long gone. He had had many reality checks since then, and it wasn't an easy decision to make, as he would have to face so many people that he had failed and also had previous bad blood with. There were the other Saiyans he had abandoned without much or any explanation. Tenshinhan, whom he called a cheater for so many years. Krillin and Bulma, his best friends back when he was younger, whom he had treated badly over the years, despite their belief in him regardless. And then of course Chi-Chi, who would be there, if she was still the champion, which she probably would be. Do we really have to be there? Just to warn them? Don't you two have a way to locate the wizard yourself? Goku asked. Sadly not. He is quite good at obscuring his location and presence, and that of his underlings, Shin replied. Which brings me to our next point. Goku looked at the blue-skinned individual. What do they need all this power for? For themselves, or? Shin and Kibito looked at each other, as if they were processing something or communicating through their minds. How much were they going to tell Goku and Yamcha? If we stop him early enough, you would never have to know. And trust us, it's safer this way. The less you know, the better, Shin said. Goku crossed his arms. Well, if you're not gonna tell us, we're not going.
But Goku? Well, what about our friends? They're gonna need our help. The only person I've known that's been training for sure is Tenshinhan, and we may not be enough to help stop them.
How am I supposed to know that we can trust them? Goku asked. Shin sighed. All right, we know from a certain source that this Babidi is trying to use his power to awaken a very certain monster that has been sealed away for millions of years that just so happens to be on your planet.
A monster? For millions of years? Oh man, why's it always gotta be our planet?
Yamcha was surprised and bemoaning this. Yes, if this creature is freed, we are all done for. The whole universe is done for. That's why we need to stop the wizard and his agents now. Well, it would be nice to know the stakes outright, Goku said, sounding a little irritable. I know, but the fewer people know about this being, the greater the chance that we will be able to stop them. It will never be found. It shall never see the light of day, Shin then explained. What's our guarantee it won't wake up someday, huh? Goku asked, being very skeptical, choosing to be the Dabura's advocate. I wouldn't worry about that. The ball that this thing is sealed in currently would require a significant manual transfer of tremendous amounts of energy. To our knowledge, only the wizard and the two of us know that it was hidden on Earth. All right, well, I guess we're gonna come home for the tournament, huh? Goku said reluctantly. As Goku predicted, all of their friends were gathering to take part in the 25th World Martial Arts Tournament. Entirely predictable. Vegeta was preparing Trunks for the junior division, while he himself was aiming for victory in the adult sector. So you can imagine their surprise when suddenly, during the group's meeting, 4 more people joined the party. They were a rugged-looking Yamcha with a beard and a scarred Goku, both dressed like space trademark mercenaries. To Goku's surprise and astonishment, everyone was happy to see him. No one looked like they wanted to murder him or cuss him out. Just, they were really pleased to see him, and it looked genuine. There was, however, one evil gaze in the distance cast at Chi-Chi. A pale man with a massive afro and a weird M on his forehead was looking at the woman. He would have his revenge on that annoying so-and-so who took everything from him. Now, where was his partner with that contraption from the wizard? They had a mission, but they couldn't fulfill their goals without taking care of a certain someone first. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now.